no worries.
It's all good. So, what am I calling you? Honk?
Oh, just call me Jill.
Jill?
Yeah.
Alright, Jill. I got you, fam.
I feel like the honk meme is making things more confusing.
Honk, honk. Am Jill. Is my chair in a good... My chair is in a good spot. Level 151 honk.
Are we back? Alright, we're back. Okay.
We're back?
So we're back. So you said you were doing Kingdom Hearts Final Mix HD, and we got interrupted.
Yes,
by
so
difficulties.
Kingdom Hearts Final Mix HD, it is the first game in the KH series. Technically, the Final Mix version was like a DLC version that you had to purchase, but we didn't get it until PS3, and then it got re-released on PS4, so that's the version we're playing today. So, anyways, Jill.
That's me.
Are we good? Are we good to
Bring Corey in.
Oh gosh, just go to your room.
I'm just letting you know. Oh my god, you're gonna get shot. I know you're one.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, IRL issues aside, if we are good to go, then I am going to start the run, and we are going to listen to one of the boppiest bops in the last 20 years.
I think we're ready to listen to this.
All right. Let's do the boppy bop. Except my timer didn't start. Wait, it did start. I'm not used to not seeing milliseconds. This timer is throwing me for a loop. It did start. Anywho, so unlike literally every other KH game, this game doesn't let you skip the intro. So we get to listen to it.
Just gonna sit here and hum this song to myself.
I'm just gonna sit here and maybe I won't make fun of it by singing it poorly.
I think it's a rite of passage for every Kingdom Hearts fan to learn the Japanese lyrics to Hikari.
Also, you might hear random laughter or shouting in the background. My house has thin walls. Oh dear. Shizukani Guchi ni tate kurayami hikari wo I actually I used to know this song all the way through, and it's been so long. It's kind of a don't know
for me too.
Oh god. So fun fact, the reason I'm so bad at singing this song now is I haven't played this game or done this run in a while. I came back from D-Rust within the last little bit for the marathon, and it has been a little adventure of trying to relearn the lyrics, and it has not been going well. But at least on the gameplay side of things, you know, we're doing pretty well over there. I was actually practicing a very hard, what some people would consider Taz-like strat for one of the harder fights of the game. And I might try to do it today, because I think it's a pretty cool strat to show off.
But before we actually get into the meat of the run, can I read a couple donations?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So we actually have $5 from Cloudy with no comment, but thank you very much, Cloudy. And then we also have $15 from Vavala Skunk, who says, such a great event being put on by the Valkyries. So many games to watch, not enough hours. Also sadness that skunks are so underappreciated. So let's have Cloud as Skunky.
Jill. There's time to fix that then.
I can always speak louder and project more if I need to.
Alright, I did a slight... Alright, that's a cutscene. So anyways, what we're doing here is kind of like the tutorial, and those weapons we chose are pretty much going to choose our ability path for the game. Like, what abilities we're gonna get, and per level and everything. It changes the structure of things. And if you choose the staff, you actually get an extra MP bar. Every other weapon gives you 2 MP, while the staff gives you 3, which we really want that 3rd MP for a lot of our strats later on. Oh hey, I got the jump. Anyways, this is kind of one of the slower sections. Oh, can I explain the level 1 Fight Club incentive? So, you're actually about to see them in a second. So, in Kingdom Hearts 1 on the Destiny's Island, there's these 3 people here from Final Fantasy. You might have heard of that series before. And their names are Tidus, Wakka, and Selphie. And so basically level 1 Fight Club is we fight these 3 people 3 versus 1, and we also fight them individually, as well as our boy Riku. All in a quick little speed run-ish thing. We kind of just whack them and try not to die, because we're on level 1, and that's all we can really hope for.
Shout out to the old challenge of getting level 99 on Destiny Islands by fighting Wakka over and over again.
Ha! It's because you get that, you get his little ball.
Yep, the extra experience for deflecting the ball back.
Them tech points, and once you get to a certain level, you get tech boost, and it's just nice. Alright, so let me explain this menu real quick. Since this is beginner, we want to basically equip all of these power boosts and defense ups, which basically give us god stats till much later in the game. And those AP boosts they give you are pretty much... They're kind of like, we sell them. We sell them later. That's it. I also personally changed my camera there, because I like the camera controls the way they were originally, and not the inverted way that they were now. Also, there's 2 ways to do this fight. One way is to kill the hand, as I just did, and the second way to do it is killing him by attacking his face. If you attack his face, you get tech points for every full combo you do on his head. And it means that we don't have to kill some enemies later on if we attack his head. But since attacking his hand is faster, it's just easier to go with the hand. Anyways, I just kind of gotta collect some stuff here, and not have Sora just be Butterhands right there. We gotta collect some stuff for Kyrie real quick. So we're not really doing much. So if Jill wants to say anything, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so very much. What I would like to say is that you're currently watching Speedrun Ragnarok, and we're proud to benefit Take This again this year. Take This reaches out to gaming companies to help them promote healthier and more productive work environments and ensure that they have methods in place for helping employees who suffer from mental illness. And if you would like to learn more, you can visit takethis.org. On top of that, we do have some fantastic donation incentives that still need to be met. The next one up, as far as a straight incentive, is the Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan Fight Super Saiyan Vegeta, which is currently at $5 out of $150. And then we actually have a couple bid wars for Lightning Returns coming up. We have the naming of Valhalla. We have the lovely meme of Earl Vollmer, which is sitting at $10. Valkyrie is sitting at $5. And then also, we can choose the color for the Midnight Mauve Guard. It's currently the only one that has any money towards it is orange at $10, but there are 8 different options. So donate and help us get those incentives either met or those wars more exciting.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, most of them, if not all of them, hopefully get met. Anyways, we're still just kind of collecting stuff here. That cutscene I skipped was Sora going to get some shrooms in the cave, and a creepy dark old person telling Sora to come to the darkness was there. It's kind of foreboding and spooky, so we had to leave the cave immediately. There's also something about a door, and we're not going to learn about that for 5 games. Also, Riku wants to race us.
My favorite thing about the Kingdom Hearts lore is having been a part of this fandom since the first game, I've seen just how things have gotten retconned. I can't imagine someone trying to start this game series in 2019.
There's so much stuff. Like Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, 0.2 Birth by Sleep Final Chapter Prologue,
Recoded Dream Drop Distance,
and 3.
Which, if people never realized, Dream Drop Distance is literally just a pun because it's 3Ds and it was on the 3DS.
Very much so.
And then we also have, what was it, Kingdom Hearts Key or Union Cross Key, the browser slash mobile game, which was actually important for the lore, despite being a game that nobody played.
And it's still ongoing today.
Yes, Scala, but admittedly they shoehorned every single title into Kingdom Hearts 3 just to make sure that they were actually important.
Well, of course. They don't want their games to not be important. Oh, wait. So Kyrie 1 is asking us to get more stuff. Now that we got some coconuts that are RNG based. We beat Riku, we're getting some drinking water. And we're picking up more mushrooms. I personally don't like mushrooms, but I guess you gotta eat what you gotta eat. Maybe it's for Kyrie. I'll have the coconut. Also, that's the end of Destiny's Island.
Riku.
Oh dear. So the shadows have taken over our island, and we must skip a bunch of cutscenes and run to Riku to save the day. Also, we have a Keyblade now. We kind of like missed the important lore behind that, but I'm sure Riku just kind of handed it to us. And I'm sure that we are the only ones allowed to have this. No one else gets a Keyblade. Only Sora.
Nobody else. And I'm sure that that's not going to be a point of contention between you and Riku at all.
So the point of this fight is we want to hit, if we're lucky, we want to hit him 6 times before his hand is in this position. And we really want to get lucky and just kind of hope that we kind of knock his laser beams into Darkseid. And that's really all that fight is. Just kind of whacking his hand with quick air combos and trying to precisely time together with his air blasts so we can kill him faster. Also, Sora's kind of lost now. We're in a new place. It's the kind of town where you go when your world falls to darkness, or light, depending on what universe you're from. Clearly for RNG right there. Anyways, at this point, it's just kind of, we want to kill 5 shadows in order to trigger a cutscene, and we don't want to do that. No, that's not it. But, if you can only get a small amount of shadows, you want to move into the next room immediately and just try to get at least 1 shadow on the way back. So, after you have about 5, Sid will talk to you here. Well, he'll talk to you anyways, but for some reason, killing 5 shadows just kind of, it piques the interest of a boy named Leon, and he just comes to beat us. He comes to fight us for some reason.
You know, I swear Leon just reminds me of someone, but I can't quite place it.
Oh my goodness. My game audio is desynced and it's bothering me so much, and I know how to fix it, but I don't want to cut the game feed. So you guys get to hear out of sync cutscene skips. Yeah, it's totally from FF2.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. Yeah, Leon from FF2. Yeah. Thank you, Scala. Justin, you'd be surprised. It clears up so much and it raises so many new questions, as is usual for a Kingdom Hearts game.
So Leon kind of just tells us here to go after the big fry and to ignore these small people, but we're trying to go fast, and earlier we attacked Darkseid's hands, so we have to go a little slow here and kill these soldiers. Now, what I failed to do was a cool little trick where, as soon as you enter into the second district, if you attack the first soldier and you only do 2 hits, if you do the full combo, as you switch targets, you can actually kill the second soldier nearby very quickly. And it's kind of the same thing here, where you try to switch the target locks to kill things faster. Now, guard armor is pretty much timing to parry that, and just kind of whacking him. And when he jumps, you want to try and get some hits off on him and stun him. Because after you stun him, you can destroy his legs a lot more easily. And then he just kind of goes up in the air. We toss this potion to get it out of our inventory. Because we don't use potions here in Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix HD. And then he's gone. So, the next little bit is just a bunch of cutscene skipping and tech smashing. So, Jill, if you got anything you want to say, now's the time.
Absolutely. Well, first off, I want to thank the 2 raids we just got. So we really appreciate it, and welcome raiders. This is Speedrun Ragnarok 2019. Hope you guys get comfy and enjoy some great speed runs. Beyond that, I do want to say that you can support Take This and get some sweet Speedrun Ragnarok swag by ordering one of our official shirts. ! merch in chat will give you the links to our listings on Teespring. There's 2 color options. There's a light logo version and a dark logo version.
Alrighty then. So Donald and Goofy just gave us fire, dot, and dodge roll. So we're just going to go ahead and steal Goofy's ether, because that's a good idea. We want that for later. We're going to switch the ribbon that we're given immediately with the Brave Warrior we just got, and we're going to equip dodge roll, because now that we have dodge roll, it's our fastest movement, and we want to use it until the end of the game efficiently. So, unfortunately, I can't actually show you this fun little thing that Kingdom Hearts 1FM HD does. There's actually a clip you can use to talk to Leon early and get his little trinket that he gives you. But
Did she go outside?
yes, but because we are playing in Japanese, which I actually haven't explained the difference yet, so I'll do that now while we're going into the gummy mission. The difference between Japanese and English is the text box speeds. There's a lot of text boxes in this game that you can't skip, and I don't remember how much time exactly it saves, but Japanese text goes a lot faster than English text for some reason. I guess somewhere in development, things happened, but Japanese text is just snappy. Other than that, the English version allows you to do a clip which saves time and movement later on, which kind of makes the runs for English and Japanese closer than they were originally. Which they used to be around, I think it was like 50 seconds apart before, but now they're more closer, and someone on English can compete very easily with someone on JP. Other than that, we turned our gummy ship into a tissue box, or, you know, whatever you would like to assume it is, and we'll just fly through the sky with it. It's because it goes fast. And that's really all the explanation we need. We're coming up on Wonderland now, and unfortunately Johnny Depp isn't in this Wonderland, but you know, it'll be fine. There's no Mad Hatter period. We meet a door that talks to us. I think he wants us to unlock him with our key. And he tells us to push that bed and to take a drink of this bottle. Which makes us small so we can go into this door over here that we unlocked by pushing the bed. Anyways, what happens in that cutscene that we're not watching is Alice is evil, and the Queen wants us to find evidence that Alice is not evil, because clearly the Queen believes that. Other than that, this is the evil Cheshire Cat, clearly the villain of this world. And they're just trying to do their job as the villain, causing mischief, among other things. And because Square Enix, I guess something happened when they were developing the game, but they didn't actually animate him summoning the Heartless. They actually didn't give him text or voice dialogue at all. So we're just gonna have to put up with that. And kill the Heartless that he summoned for us to fight. There clearly wasn't just normal spawning Heartless, and we picked up our evidence. We only need one, because we're just amazing detectives, and, you know, we don't need evidence. The Queen has the rest of it. We just have to choose our box of evidence, which proves, you know, that we're not, that you know, Alice isn't evil. Except we accidentally proved Goofy was evil, so I don't think he's gonna get his own movie, guys. Wait.
That's extremely disappointing.
He already did get his own movie? Oh, that's... Oh, he's in jail, though. So the object of this fight is we want to destroy the cranks as fast as we can, which is basically like trying to make them move. And then after that, we want to destroy this tower quickly so that the guards don't get us. After that, we discover Alice is gone, and we just kind of have to go find out what happened. Other than that, I'm just kind of going to be dodge rolling around for a hot minute while I go to bend myself to the Cheshire Cat's will. He's still causing mischief, that pesky kitty. And, yeah, I don't really have anything to talk about for a good minute, so Jill, do you have anything to say?
I don't currently have any donations, but I would love to have some. So if people are looking to donate, I'm going to shout out a couple of these bid wars again. We have the two Lightning Returns bid wars, which actually is the run right after this one. So we have the naming incentive, as well as the choosing the color for the Midnight Move garb. And then right after that, we have not only an incentive to fight Super Saiyan Vegeta, but we also have one to choose who performs the dramatic DBZ sacrifice. Currently, Chiaotzu is the only one who has $5.
Alright. So we're gonna open up this door, and we're here now. Weird. It's like this place is a wonder. Anyways, the Cheshire Cat is tempting us to come up onto his table because he's clearly going to summon the boss of this world. He's the... I'm telling you guys, he's the big bad. He's summoning the enemy. So what we want to do for this fight is we want to knock him down. Originally this fight we used the chair, but we don't use that chair anymore because it's actually slower. So now what we want to do is we want to knock him down by jumping and doing really tall jumps. And that kind of just kills him quickly and saves a pretty decent amount of time as opposed to jumping on the chair and jumping at him from there. Before, we would just kind of hope we would get some good jumps off and it would do full combos, but getting up on that chair is just so slow. So I don't remember who decided that we're not going to do that anymore, but they were a pretty fast person because everybody uses that strat now, and it saves a whole bunch of time. Anyways, we are all leaving Wonderland now, and we are on our way to the next world. It's a mystery. Wonder what it could be. We don't have anything going on here anymore. We're just kind of floating through space, doing our thing, and, you know, trying to survive together. Me, Donald, and Goofy. And we don't have a gun. Guns are bad. But we're gonna put one on later.
So one thing I'd like to mention about this particular game is if you've never played this with Japanese audio or you've never seen it with Japanese audio, Donald's Japanese voice actor is an absolute treat to listen to. So it is the best thing.
I concur. I think the game wants you to believe that these are supposed to be heartless ships, but I don't ever see any heartless symbols on them, so I'm just led to believe they're like ships that belong to random people in space, but they don't like you. So they just kind of try to destroy you. They're probably space pirates or something. Kind of wish we had a world like that.
I think they just got a major case of the gummy ship rage. I mean, you are driving the wrong way, clearly.
Clearly. Maybe you're just like, you're just in the wrong lane, and they're just like, hey, get into the right lane. And they're shooting you to get you into that lane. So anyways,
that's what happens on highways in Texas. So.
This is Sabor, and he's a giant kitty, but he's kind of a pushover, so I'm just not going to worry about him. He's totally not going to come back to try and kill us later. So we'll spare him. Tarzan's in our party now, by the way. I bet you all never saw that coming. Anyways, what we want to do right now is touch this save before going into here. Because this takes us directly to the campsite if we jump into it and skip it to go faster. So the game's not actually prompting us to do this, but we want to collect these films things right here. I don't actually remember their name. The Japanese words just kind of get to you at some point in time. But Jane wants us to collect them, and so it's better to collect them now and try to do it quickly before we get our boys Donald and Goofy back, because afterwards we can just talk to Jane and she'll be like, oh hey, we have this thing, go and collect our slides. For some reason they're just going around the camp. Also, thank you, Xerxes. And she just shows us our slides, but none of them are really important, so we're just gonna kind of skip through them. So now what we want to do is we want to teleport. That save I picked up earlier is gonna help us move faster. On the PS3 version of this game, we actually took a different route where we had to jump on hippos, but due to the faster loads of the PS4, we're allowed to save warp over here, and we kind of just land right in the vines where the next cutscene is. It's much faster. Also, Tarzan's kind of sad that he's not in the party anymore, so we're never gonna put him back in.
Sad Tarzan.
We're gonna do the same thing essentially with stuff. So if there's anything Jill wants to add or has to say, then they can do it while I just kind of dodge roll around for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. For especially the raiders that we got, if you are not familiar with the RPG Valkyries, the RPG Valkyries are an inclusive group of female and femme-leaning speedrunners who all love and run RPGs. If you'd like to join their Discord, please use !Discord in the chat. The Discord is open to all people and all genders, so don't worry, you're very much welcome.
Alright, perfect. Just in time for me to explain what I'm doing next. So the next segment of the run is called Power Wild, and there's these monkeys that start going around the jungle. I mean, it's kind of expected. We are in a jungle, so we have to kill the monkeys with ice, because that's the fastest way to do it. And So we teleported here, and then we want to kill these two and turn around, and then we want to get these ones as quickly as possible. But sometimes that last one can be a little bit of a trickster. Now this is where the ether that we took from Goofy comes in. We use it here in the middle of the power wild so we can keep going. And we want to dodge roll up here. Now this next room of power wilds, we don't want to use the blizzard as much because they don't group up well together in this one. We actually want to try to use more physical combos. Because in the next room, they group up really well. And it's just a lot nicer, so we want to save our MP for that. And the last room, of course. Now we're coming up on the second to last room, and see how grouped up they are. They're just kind of really nicely placed, except I didn't take advantage of it, clearly. But, and the gorillas are just giving us presents. I should have mentioned that as well. They think we're nice for getting rid of the monkeys, so they're just giving us presents along the way. And now we're done with Power Wilds. So we had to get rid of those to trigger the next thing, because saving the gorillas is essentially placing them all in one place.
Covered in
And
sweat and tears
so
and cum, and I am fucking ready to go. Oh my god. I'm literally covered in every bodily fluid you can imagine.
pardon my roommates. I was not expecting them to come through, and I forgot to mute. Anyways, the next fight, we want to fire Sabor and full combo him after we fire him, and, we want to do Disney things and happy things, and, save the gorillas with our adventure pals Donald and Goofy. Sabor came back because we left him alive last time, but while we were distracted, the Heartless decided they wanted to trap our friends Jane and Turk. That's not very good, so we have to go save them, but unfortunately Tarzan's taking care of other things, I guess, so he can't be in the party, but the cutscenes will try to lie to you. So the point of this next section, to save our friends, is we want to lock on to this fruit and just kind of whack it a bit. Because apparently it's just causing problems, because it got too big and the vines got too big, and this is just kind of what we do, we just whack a fruit. Other than this, our friends are saved, and for the next minute or so, I don't have anything to explain to you all, so, Jill?
Yeah, so, one sec. I can be professional. I have a question for the chat. If you're a fan of the Kingdom Hearts series, what is your favorite game of, like, the dozen or more games that have been released?
Okay. So while people are answering that question, the object of this fight is to basically get Clayton to come out of that stealth form, and then we want to start a combo until he turns around. Because essentially what's going to happen now is we have to combo him again to knock him off of his stealth step. And then we just kind of want to combo him here until he dies. Just like that. Now for the next 7 seconds or so, we want to just kind of let this nice white noise do its thing until we can skip the cutscene. You can actually skip that cutscene in this current cutscene in the black and white, but I miscounted my time. Also, this is the hardest boss in the game. I just want you all to know. If you can beat this boss, you can beat anything in this game. Except I'm clearly not beating this game correctly. It kind of defeated me a little.
So it looks like people are saying two primarily. A couple of shout outs to 358 over 2 days, which is my personal favorite.
Hey,
I know
same.
it's not the best game. It's not the best gameplay wise, but I was a sucker for the like bonus missions in multiplayer where I could play as my boy Zexion, who is the best member of the organization. Don't at me. If you at me, I will fight you.
At Jill, Marluxia.
I respect your opinion, and your opinion is valid, but I disagree.
So for the next while, there's not going to be a whole lot to talk about. I can actually just kind of explain it right now. So we're going to be traveling back to Traverse Town via Gummy Ship, and because we have to talk to Sid again. And Sid's going to point us in the right direction to Leon, which then we will be pointed in the direction of Merlin the Wizard, which will bring us back to Sid in order to sell some items, and then we're just going to kind of go back to Merlin's, and then go back to Sid, and then go back to Sid. It's just going to be a whole lot of movement with a lot of cutscene skips. So from here on, there's not really going to be a whole lot to say. If Jill has anything to plug or any more questions to ask, now would be a perfect time for any and all of that, because we're going to have plenty of silence together. You know, other than anything else I can come up to explain.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Take This and kind of the things that they do. So Take This has commissioned white papers from clinicians on important industry topics such as overwork and job instability. The most recent one, State of the Industry 2019, Mental Health in the Game Industry, hopes to start a year-long conversation about creating healthier game development workplaces. This is incredibly relevant given the amount of burnout that we see in game devs, so this is very important and near and dear to me. But also, if you're looking for other ways to support Take This once the marathon is over, if you buy games at humblebundle.com, you can actually choose Take This as your charity of choice to support with your purchases.
Anyways, another fun little thing I can explain is that if you get into this top little left corner here, there's a good secret spot where you can just kind of let your controller down, and you don't have to touch it until you reach Traverse Town. It's not that special, but... Wait. Okay. It took the game a second to load. Oh, I get scared. Oh. I've never seen the gummy ship space like load that slowly into the next area. So I was actually scared for a second that I was supposed to be where Traverse Town was and it just wasn't loading. That would be the first I've ever seen in this game.
There is no Traverse Town anymore.
Clearly. So this next part is basically, like I said earlier, it's just a bunch of movement. We land in the accessory shop to make things go faster. It's why we leave from the accessory shop in the first place, way back when the first time we were here. Also, Sora has magnet hands as well as Butterfingers. Just keep that in mind.
So we've got a question from the chat asking, what is your favorite fight in the entire series?
My favorite fight would probably be something along the lines of... My favorite fight is probably something along the lines of Riku 2 in Kingdom Hearts 1, actually, and we will be fighting him.
I think my favorite fight is probably the Saïx fight in 2, when you're in the world that never was. That's a very fun fight.
Fun. I honestly have different favorite fights for like different games, but Riku 2 is just my favorite overall. I know it's from Kingdom Hearts 1 that probably has like the least updated combat other than the modal games. Well, barring Coded, because that gameplay is amazing. Like, I probably would say that for KH1, it's Riku 2. For KH2, my favorite fight is probably Data Roxas. I had a lot of fun learning a cool strat where you juggle Roxas in the air. In, Data Roxas for Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. Also, what I didn't get was a fun little thing we like to call swag fire in the community. While you're falling down there, if you jump correctly, you can actually land a fire right before you land, so you don't have to fire it right in front of the door. Other than that, more mashing and stuff, so if anybody has any questions they want to ask, or Jill has anything to read, now's even more of a perfect time. It's just going to be a lot of this for the next minute or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to necessarily shove all this information down your throats, but Take This is very important to me and also to the Valkyries. So I do just want to shout out one more thing as far as Take This goes, at least for now, which is that Take This exists to let people know that it's okay to not be okay. No one is alone in their struggles with mental health, and there's always hope for improvement.
Wow, I feel like I'm on like the opposite end of the spectrum here. So, fun fact, apparently, as much as I know, from what I learned being a part of the KH community for the years that I have been, apparently the Twitch emote, OPOP, actually, if you sing it along with Merlin's theme song for his little office, it goes well along with it quite well. And it's kind of funny.
These are just small things that you do in order to make your speedrun more entertaining.
So now we're talking to Sid, and he's basically giving us the book for Pooh's World, but we're not going to Pooh's World in this run, unfortunately. I know, it's such a shame, but we'll get to see a snippet of it later on, don't worry. We're not going to Herc's World either. And so he wants us to take it to Merlin. The reason we went to Merlin's first and not Sid was because going to Sid's second... Wait, I got an extra thing to sell here. What? Okay. We basically want to sell items to buy some gummy pieces later on, and that's why we're selling to Sid. Also, the reason we get the book now is because now that Merlin's already summoned and everything, we can just go ahead and activate this stuff, and the fairy godmother will, you know, give us Simba. Now we have to go to his house. I just want to give everybody a fun reminder that swimming is totally faster, but let me tell you the truth though. For that little segment there with the things, you want to actually try to jump across the stones in a quick, concise manner via short hops. If you cannot do that, there are specific ones that actually let you dodge roll to them, and that's about as much as that goes. If you swim, you're probably only losing maybe 5 to 10 seconds, but in a big run in areas you can lose 5 to 10 seconds all the time. That can kind of add up. I don't think it's actually 5 to 10 seconds. It's probably more like 5 seconds at the most. Depends on when you fall. And now we're just going to go ahead and talk to Sid, and he will give us our gummy parts and let us leave Traverse Town for the foreseeable future. We won't have to see this place again until much later. We're kind of just going to go on an adventure until then. So I hope everybody likes adventures. For the next little bit again though, we're just gonna kind of be dealing with putting together our new gummy ship as well as heading to the next world, so I don't want to keep making chill for stuff down your throat. So unless they have something to say, if anybody has any questions, now's a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. And while we're waiting for any potential questions to come in, I do want to go ahead and hype up these incentives and bid wars a bit more. So we're less than 2 hours out from the end of this run. And so the next run is actually going to be that Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. It currently has 2 bid wars, one for the naming of the Angel of Valhalla, and the other one for choosing the color of the Midnight Mauve garb. So if you want to influence those decisions, exclamation point donate in the chat, and then we also have a few incentives up for the game after that, which is Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan. So get those donations in, say something funny, ask questions in chat, do whatever you want to do. I'd be happy to entertain y'all through some quirky readings of donation messages. I do have a question for chat, because this is technically a Disney game. What is your favorite Disney song? And if you donate and tell me what your favorite Disney song is, I will sing a snippet of it.
Oh, whoa. I'm excited for that. So, oh, maybe we'll get something. And you'll have to sing us something. I'm interested too, for that matter. So I think I'll answer it now. My favorite song is probably the Japanese version of Let It Go. And Under the Sea. There's actually, funnily enough, the Japanese voice actor for Sora actually has a cover of Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid. Fun fact. For those who didn't know.
That's a deep cut bit of trivia. My favorite song, I actually have 2 for 2 different reasons. And what's funny is they're kind of the distinct opposite of one another if you think about the themes. So my favorite song is Let It Go, because that was my coming out song. It's very near and dear to my heart. But also I'm really a big fan of I'll Make a Man Out of You, which is like the complete opposite of what the reasons I like Let It Go for.
Let it go, let it go.
Please make me sing Let It Go.
It reminds me of the fact that I was at karaoke night the other night, and the only thing I knew how to sing was a bunch of Disney songs. And I got a whole lot of claps for singing I Can Go the Distance. So now we're in Agrabah, and the next little thing we're going to do here is we're going to kind of go here and try to blizzard these bandits. We want them to be grouped up as much as possible. That's the goal, but it doesn't always happen. Because just like the monkeys, the bandits don't really like us, so they kind of just want to do their own thing. But fortunately for us, we kind of got lucky, and they kind of just grouped up for us. Also, so some people may not know, originally we put Aladdin in the party there because we would have to go through some hot menuing up there, but there's actually a faster way to get back to Aladdin's house, which is we teleport here, and we just kind of teleport to Aladdin's house, and then we're on the other side of the gate. We did it. We're back here. Woo. So now we want to switch Aladdin into the party in place of Donald, and so we're going to do a menu here. We want to equip Jungle King and White Fang, and then we're going to give Goofy this EXP ring here, which will give us... Oh no, we're not putting that on. So we want to take off Aladdin's ability here and put on Jackpot, and that's really all we have to do. Don't mind the random hopping into menus. Also, we got Black Fungus, so it means we have to leave the room immediately and go back in. We used to put Scan on, but Scan is for people who do not play the game that often. So we put it on later, because it is useful, it's just not useful right now. So we put it on in a later menu in a later world. Because it's faster to just keep it off here. We just want to mess with Aladdin's abilities, and that is about it. Also, that's not a cutscene you can skip, surprisingly. This fight coming up is called Pot Centipede. Made of pots, we want to kind of try and lure him into going into the next room. And we want to kind of try to like get combo him as he goes into the next room. But obviously that's not going to happen every single time. So we kind of want to just kind of attack him until he dies. If that happens, if he breaks apart. So the next thing is we want to get into this little load zone here, as I just did. Because there's no load zones during that fight. So if you can land over here, you don't have to go through an extra load screen once you're done with the fight. And where things are going to be kind of busy here. So the next fight is Tiger Head, as I call him. Some people call him differently. The Cave of Wonders. Giant ferocious tigers. I've heard my friends call him before. But so we kind of want to get a specific amount of hits on him, which is around like 9, because then we can finish him off, his eye off before he even sticks his face into the ring. And then we can just full combo his eye here with air combos until it breaks. And we break the Curse of Darkness on the Tiger Head, Cave of Wonders. And he lets us go inside. Because clearly we have Aladdin. And you know, Aladdin's diamond in the rough. I think that's what the saying is. And so this next part is just kind of going through waterfalls. We have to unlock this pathway in another room, which is why we try to go down here immediately and fall down. We have to shoot this pillar here with a fire so that it unlocks a room elsewhere. And then we'll get a cutscene. Counting is indeed tough. coming up on the next fight here. And the next fight is actually Jafar. Apparently he's the bad guy. So what
the most underrated villain song from a direct-to-VHS Disney movie, and you're only second rate.
So what we want to do here is we want to hit Jafar twice and use a blizzard, and so we can try to keep him on the same platform. If we're lucky and Aladdin can do us damage, then we can actually just kill Jafar before he stabs his scepter into the ground and knocks us back. But I'm not that fast anymore, so we didn't do that today. But we can kill him in one cycle before he teleports away and leaves the platform, which is typically seen as 2 cycles. There's actually a way to manipulate him to go onto the same platform every single time, but as I beat him speedy fast, you didn't get to see that. And this next part is just kind of, you want to try and hit Jafar a certain amount of times, which kind of manipulates Iago to go into that place with the torch, and then it's just kind of bashing Iago and trying to deflect that meteor until he, you know, meets his end. If you do the wrong amount of blizzards or you move from that spot, Iago can actually go to different places and it kind of can ruin the fight. Other than that, we want to get hit by boulders because Aladdin's not a good driver. He didn't get his license, and I don't think Square Enix realized that. So instead of letting Sora drive, who also doesn't have his license but can at least drive a dummy ship, Aladdin's just kind of driving us, and we just kind of have to deal with the outcome of getting hit by boulders. Fortunately for us, though, it saves time in the fact that you can die from this segment and skip ahead to the cutscene after it faster. It used to be more common that you might not hit all the boulders on the PS3 version, but on the PS4 version, it's a lot easier to hit all the boulders you need. It does kind of hurt, but, you know, it's fine. So now we're about to go into essentially what is going to be several cutscenes and more gummy ship gameplay. So, Jill, if you have anything to add about this world before we leave, and or anything to say or need to do, go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. Give me just a quick moment, because we did receive a donation with a favorite Disney song.
Oh, whoa.
So I'm not going to sing the full thing, but I'm going to read the donation, and then I'm actually going to mute my Discord just so I can listen to it, because I'm not super familiar with it. I'm going to sing at least the beginning of it. But we have $5 from Valkyries Skunk that says there's one Disney song that stands out for all the wrong reasons. I don't know why they thought Gilbert Gottfried's singing was a good idea. Forget about love. And also that will go to Runner's Choice. So give me just a moment to prepare for that, and I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Alrighty, Jill. Oh joy. This sounds like it's gonna be a fun time. So I guess I have a question to the chat, since we're playing a Kingdom Hearts Disney game. And that is, in Kingdom Hearts, anybody who's played it at least, what are your favorite Keyblades? And if they have a form in Kingdom Hearts 3, what form is your favorite? My favorite is, not gonna lie, I really like Lionheart. but we don't actually use it in the run for Kingdom Hearts. So, yeah, that's my favorite. Also, apparently Monstro's a giant whale in space. Your favorite Keyblade is the one that starts your car. Nice. So that's like any elephant. Because the Keyblade can unlock anything.
Alright, let me know when we have about a minute for the section that I'm gonna sing of this wonderful song.
Alright, so we're not gonna have a whole lot of time right now since we're hopping into the next world, but we'll have a nice little gummy ship mission afterwards.
Awesome. Well, stick around for the Gummy Ship mission to hear me sing about a minute of Forget About Love from Return of Jafar. I will not be doing a Gilbert Gottfried impression because doing both those at the same time is hard. I don't like doing hard things.
You don't like doing hard things.
I say that and then I'm a Kaizo Mario World speedrunner, so I'm a bit of a hypocrite, I guess.
Oh, fun. I mean, I love doing hard things. It's kind of a challenge. So, let's see. Least favorite is the magma variety. You prefer Yeah. You know, that box was not doing me any favors. So basically what we want to do here now is that Riku has Pinocchio, and for some reason he's in the whale too. I guess Monstro just kind of ate him out at sea, because I think he took the raft maybe. So he's playing tag with us and Pinocchio, and we just kind of need to catch up to them and, you know, make sure we do everything justice. See, there's Pinocchio, we saw Riku's feet. So clearly we're playing tag together, and it's nothing bad is about to go on. But Pinocchio does get trapped in a monster because he doesn't know how to fight, but Riku helps us out because he's a good guy. And so the objective of this fight is you want to keep him stun locked, like I didn't, and if you can do that, he doesn't have the ability to do anything. So you just kind of whack him. And if Riku helps out, you know, that's pretty cool too. Because then he's at least being a bro and, you know, not trying to hurt us or anything. Because that's never going to happen. Because Riku's our pal, our bro. He's on our side. And so what we're about to get now is, we finally unlock the high jump ability by getting it from a chest, which leads us on to the next menu. We want to equip high jump, and we want to equip Sora's abilities here. Other than that, we actually don't want to equip this yet. Actually, we do. We want to go ahead and equip our next things here. We want to equip the next Keyblade. So now that we have high jump equipped and some abilities equipped, we now have scan on as well, which we didn't equip earlier to be faster. Although with my menuing abilities at this point, I don't think it was worth it. The next fight is basically the same boss again, except it has more HP. If you're fast, you can get a full combo off, like I just didn't. And you can do it before he does his attack. Other than that, it's just kind of more of the same, and trying to keep him in a loop, except there's a specific thing that changes. He opens up because Pinocchio's not in him. Except he's not doing that right now, which means we got a really good fight that's rare and almost never happens. Clap, clap. So from here on to this point, what's going to happen next is essentially Monstro's going to spit us out, and we're gonna get spat back to Agrabah, but then we have to warp back to Monstro to then pick up a summon named Dumbo. And from then on, we're going to go and travel to Halloween Town. So for the next few minutes, the next minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, Jill, the stage is yours.
All right, excellent. Let me go ahead and get this pulled back up. And we did get another donation for Hellfire. So I guess next Gummy Ship section, I'll be doing that. That was a $1 donation from Nightwind's song. Let me go ahead and pull it back.
Just ignore the landing in Agrabah part. That wasn't, we don't do that.
All right, cool. I'm gonna mute my Discord real quick, and I'll be back where I can hear you in just a moment.
I can't wait till Jill serenades us.
Forget about that guy. Forget about the way you fell into his eyes. Forget about his charms. Forget about the way he held you in his arms. Walking on air's obnoxious. The thrills, the chills will make you nauseous, and you'll never get enough. Just forget about love. Forget about romance. Forget about the way your heart begins to dance. Then you feel the blush when he's spouting out some sentimental mush. Love really is revolting. It's even worse than when you're molting. Enough of this fluff. Just forget about love. Alright.
Perfect. I
ended up trying to do the Gilbert Gottfried thing a little bit.
I'm totally in love. You did wonderful. So now we're going into Halloween Town. And so we got new costumes, and one thing I'm kind of salty about in the KH series is that this is the only world that we get this costume change other than Atlantica, technically speaking. And come on, Square. Wonderland, we could have had like a Mad Hatter outfit. We could have had like a monkey outfit in Deep Jungle. We could have had like a soldier Herculean outfit in Olympus Coliseum. They could have had so many extra outfits. I am kind of glad though that they saved the pirate outfit for Pirates of the Caribbean's world in Kingdom Hearts 3 though. Because that's actually pretty good outfit, pretty good character model. That's clearly where all their budget went. So what we just did was we went ahead and grabbed something that we're going to use in this menu here, actually. So we're going to grab Jack's Ethers, and then we're going to use this thing that we grabbed in the chest in the main square. It's a power-up, which gives us an extra strength. So it's just more stat boosts, and it's going to make us go faster. Also, while Jill was singing, you probably didn't notice this, but I actually switched out the Brave Warrior accessory for the Ray of Light. And the point of that is that Ray of Light gives us an extra MP, which is very helpful for Halloween Town up until the kids fight. Because it makes us go fast. It kills everything in one less blizzard, and we get more MP out of it. Anyways, the next little bit is basically going to be doing a bunch of menial tasks for our boy Professor here. Professor Quack, as I like to call him. So we're going to be doing these menial tasks. Basically, we have to collect this, we have to collect that. We're doing Kingdom Hearts versions of fetch quests. So, if Jill has anything to sing, say, or do anything for the next little hot minute, go ahead.
Absolutely. So I'll do the Hellfire in just a moment. I do want to point out that this is going to be a thing that I'll do for basically the duration of this run until Alexis tells me that there's not really any more room for it. So feel free to keep those donations coming. But yeah, let me do a little bit of Hellfire here.
If there's anything I know by heart, I am more than willing to help out with the singing.
Beata Maria, you know I'm so gorgeous man. Of my virtue I am justly proud. Beata Maria, you know I'm so much purer than the common, vulgar, weak, licentious crowd. Tell me, Maria, why I see her dancing there, why her smoldering eyes still scorch my soul. I feel her, I see her, the sun caught in her raven hair is blazing in me out of all control. Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin, this burning desire is turning me to sin. That was Hellfire from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Was that it? Sing more
That's
if
all I'm
you
doing.
want.
There's more, but that's all I'm doing.
You can sing more if you want.
That's about all I'm really familiar with, even if I'm using a lyric sheet.
Well,
If someone wants to donate for Let It Go, I'll do the full thing.
that would be amazing. I would join in. Songs that I know, by heart at least, are, I know Hakuna Matata. I think everybody knows that, though. Maybe. I don't think people remember the middle parts.
Yeah, I know pretty much everything by heart from Lion King, Frozen, Mulan, maybe a couple of other songs here and there, but those are like the 3 movies that I've watched the most, and I know all the songs by heart.
If I had a lyrics page, which obviously I don't have time to pull up, unlike you, I could totally sing You're Welcome from Moana.
Oh,
It's one of my
all the
favorite
Moana
songs.
Golf. I forgot about that.
So, the objective of this fight is essentially we want to try and blizzard them all together in a group blizzard, and if we have about 5 blizzards, that's doable, but by the time I got to these ones, that obviously didn't happen. And if we do it correctly, they kind of just stay in one place until they die if it goes perfectly. Otherwise, most of the time, the red one just kind of, does his own little thing. Also, this is the hardest menu in the game, right there. So the next fight we have here is Oogie. So Oogie is essentially a gimmick fight where he throws dice at you and keeps you down in a layer below him, basically gambling your life away without your permission. And we're not really going to take that kindly, so we want to kill his enemies and wait until these things shine. And then we can attack Oogie while he's on up here. We can only get 9 hits in though, and if we're lucky, 10. We're lucky, I think it's 10 or and a lucky 11 hit. So essentially, what we do here, if we're good at the game, you know, like I totally am, is we hit the dice back and reflect them. So then we can skip his turn, essentially. And come back to immediately comboing him. He just kind of got out of camera, so I couldn't do it immediately, but you know, Oogie's Oogie. And then, other than that, the next fight we have is, what I like to call, Oogie's acne appointments. You see, he kind of grew big because he's going through puberty or something, and he kind of just gets these dark splotches all over his body, and we just kind of have to pop them. And that's really all there is to this. So, Jill, if you have anything you would like to add to the splendor of this run.
Not currently, still waiting on another request, but I will say that we are still taking donations for the Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns incentives, so if you'd like to get your choices in for that, you can absolutely do so, and the Disney singing still stands. What I will maybe suggest, and this is completely up to you, is if we get to $2,700, we're only $19 away. I say that when your run is over, before we pass it on to the next team, we should do Let It Go.
Oh, whoa. I would most definitely do that.
Alright, so $19. You guys can do that collectively. You might get a few more Disney songs before then, but me and Alexis will sing Let It Go for you.
Kidnap the Sandy Claus indeed. So now that we're done with Halloween Town, we can go ahead and head on to the next world. Which, you know, that thing I mentioned earlier about, like, space pirates? Well, I guess we've just been destroying too much of their ships, so one's just gonna kind of scoop us up. Other than that, we're just kind of floating through space. So if anybody wants Jill to sing a Disney song, now would be perfect.
And on top of the singing and the bid wars, all your donations do go towards Take This, which is the charity that we are raising money for here during Speedrun Ragnarok 2019. Take This is a mental health nonprofit, and their main mission is to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on different disorders and prevention techniques, and reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. If you'd like more information, please visit takethis.org.
Okay, that's it. I'm just... That's my theory now. 3 runs now, I've gotten Hook Ship first try. So, fun fact, the game actually wants you to complete all 3 of this Circle of Worlds. Atlantica, Halloween Town, and Monstro. If you complete 2 of them, you can continue with the game, but there's an RNG chance for whether you can get or miss Hook Ship because of it. We don't actually know how to manipulate this in our favor, but I'm starting to think getting over 260 points is a good start because every time I get 260 points or higher, I've been getting hook ship, and you know, I'm just starting to believe that's it. Nice. So that was a neat little quick hop there to get up on that little ledge faster without having to do any extra jumps. So this next part is getting a ledge grab, and then it's kind of just Hook talking to Riku, going all like Suritu Nanaka. And then the next thing is Peter just kind of goes, Doshita Tinku. We don't actually understand what that means, but I'm sure they do. We have another fight coming up now that we're in Neverland with Peter Pan. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually going to try a strat that I was practicing just before this run, actually. So we want to equip Pumpkinhead, and we want to equip the Air Combo Plus here. We want to do a menu where we can add on abilities for everyone. And we want to equip Stop here. And we want to customize Goofy so he can throw NP items better. And Peter Pan to do the same, because we need Peter Pan for the Hook fight later on. And so essentially what this next fight is we want to keep Auntie Sora in a corner. You know, like I'm not doing, but as soon as we get him into a decent place, we want to stop him and attack him 3 times, 2, and then stop him again, technically. And if you do it correctly, then you can actually stop loop him, and he will stay stopped. And by the time he unstops, when you do it correctly, he will die. However, that does not happen so easily. So basically, the other way to do this fight is he disappears every 5 hits. So with the correct timing, you can actually loop him. Basically, we're cheap. We're just a bunch of cheap speedrunners doing things to go fast. You know, we got the time stop death effect, so I'm satisfied. The fastest fight I can think of with the time thing, because it's actually pretty what's the word? Actually, we don't have to do this menu anymore, because it's already done. Basically, that fight can at its fastest be around 20 seconds. At its slowest, it can last to around a minute if you just aren't as great at doing Anti-Sora. As I've stated, I am still a little rusty, but we should be fine. So at this point, we want to switch Peter Pan into the party, and we want to summon Simba immediately, so that we don't have to move. And Simba will basically help us get rid of these waves of Heartless pretty quickly. I forget to... I forgot to do something. And then from this point on, it's just kind of trying to kill these things quickly. And trying to save as much time as we can doing it. And we want to make sure we have a decent amount of MP going in the Hook. So here's the Hook strat. what happens with Hook is essentially we have to stop him just like we were attempting to do with Anti-Sora. And it's basically one full combo and then a stop. And Peter is supposed to help us with MP, but sometimes he isn't always helpful, so we just kind of have to hope. And it takes about 8 stops or 9 stops, I believe, and by the time he comes undone, we should just kind of do that, explode. And we can kind of just sit here and watch him. Look, shiny. From this point on, we're just going to be dealing with a bunch of movement and cutscenes until the next boss, which I will explain closer upon getting there. Jill, if you have anything to say now.
Not a whole bunch. I will point out that you said shiny, so if anyone wants to donate for that song, that'd be great. But beyond that, you're currently watching Speedrun Ragnarok, and we're proud to benefit Take This again this year. Take This vision is for game communities to welcome and support people experiencing mental health challenges, as well as to recognize the humanity and mental health of game creators. So if you want to know more, again, please visit takethis.org. It'd really mean a lot to us. And donate so I have to sing. I like to sing.
Yes, we need to hear more of Jill. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and pick up this gummy piece here. Now that we're done with the world, we had to hit the clock tower and pick up that gummy piece, but we're gonna land here and we're gonna do a menu real quick. So we're going to equip Fairy Harp, and over White Fang we're gonna equip Raven Claw. So we're gonna equip Glide as well, and we're gonna go down here and equip Guard and Ars Arcanum. Now we're gonna go to Goofy and equip a couple abilities for him that we do need, and we want to go to Donald as well, I believe. So after this, we're kind of set, and we can just go. Now we're going back to Traverse Town, remember that place. We only have to visit this place one more time other than this, and then we're done for good. So what we want to do now is we want to land in Merlin's house. And originally we would land here and then go to fight the boss we have here, but now we're just going to use it to get Dumbo really quick, and then we're going to warp to the accessory shop actually. So the Fairy Godmother will grant us the ability to summon our friend Dumbo, which is very nice. He helps us a lot. He's a good pal. He also makes us a little baby Sora that you'll get to see a few times later on. So now the point is, we want to go through here, and there's a fun little movement trick, that you can do now that you have high jump. It's essentially, you want to get up here and go on the roof. And if you do it correctly, you can despawn everything by the time you get up there. And you want to just Ars Arcanum that whole crowd of Heartless. So, a neat little movement trick to get up here. You don't have to climb the ladder or go through the Gizmo shop. You can just high jump up there. This fight is actually available much earlier in the game, around the time that we finish Tarzan's world, but it's actually faster for us to come back and do it later because it's not required until now. Which is just a fun little trivia fact for those who fight this earlier in the game.
Yeah, and I bought this as soon as we could, whenever I played through this however many years ago, so that's a pretty cool bit of trivia.
So now, since you've never seen this happen before, I guess you get to see this him kind of get destroyed now then. So we guard that into an Ars Arcanum on his left leg. And we want to try to do damage to the arms and guard, because he's going to do that. So we want to do another Ars on his arm to finish it off. And now we want to destroy these legs here. Hopefully before they reconnect, but if not, it's fine. Now that they're done being together apart, we can attack them and finish them off. And so another little fun fact here is you can actually skip the scene while the HUD is still out there. As long as the HUD starts moving and fading out, you can skip the scene. Now we just have to talk to Sid and we'll have a few more cutscenes to skip and, well... if anybody has any questions they want to ask, or Jill has anything they want to share, or questions they want to ask to the audience, go ahead.
I've got a question for the chat. I'm gonna keep this to the mainline series, so 1, 2, and 3. What's your favorite Disney World in the Kingdom Hearts games? Mine would probably have to be, it's probably a toss-up either between Tron from Kingdom Hearts 2 or, I really liked, which one in 3 was it? It was, not the Toy Story World, Arendelle in 3.
Oh my goodness, Arendelle. I love Arendelle. Not because I love the world itself. In the speedrun, there's a whole lot of really cool movement in that world, and it's just my favorite world in the run. And like, other than that, favorite worlds are, for page 1, it's Halloween Town. For page 2, it's Pride Rock, just like Volva there. And for Cage 3, it's Arendelle. Or Pirates, one of those two.
Yeah, the Pirates world in 3 was actually a lot stronger than it was in 2, in my opinion.
A lot of people don't like it, but I think casually the Pirates world is pretty fucking cool.
Just don't make me collect crabs, please. That's my least favorite part.
Yeah, crabs. Don't remind me, please. And thank you.
You know, you're being very rude right now. You're the one driving on the wrong side of the road, and you're shooting them.
You know, you're right. You're right. Everybody's just trying to do their thing, and I'm just shooting their ships out, driving on the wrong side of the road. I bet they just hate me. So, where we're going now is actually a place called Hollow Bastion. Unlike the world before us, it's not a Disney world, and it's a Square Enix original world. It was made specifically for this game, and we see it a few more times in the series, but unfortunately in Cage 3 it only makes an appearance in cutscenes, and I think something happened at Square Enix. I'm not sure why, but you know, we didn't get to play it. Maybe we'll get to see it in the DLC, but I highly doubt it. You've never played any Cage games. That is a fair thing. A lot of people have never played Cage games. If you could replace Donald or Goofy with any character that you can have in your party permanently, who would it be? I would replace Goofy with Beast. Well, that is a loaded question. For me personally, I would probably choose... I would choose Riku from KH2. Because, you know, I would want Riku in my party permanently. What about you, Jill?
We're on the same page there. I waited, I don't know how many years to have Riku in my party, and so when you get to that part of the world that never was, I was like, yes, finally, it happened. Thank you. But aside from that, maybe Auron from the Underworld in Cage. Both replacing Goofy, because Donald's a healer, and I need my healer.
Honestly, I would probably have them replacing Donald. I don't really like Donald, and I heal myself. If I really need to be healed.
That's fair, and Donald's actually not a very good healer now that I think about it. He usually spends some time just on the ground.
Honestly? Honestly, I think Riku heals me better than Donald ever has. Like, Riku's actually an optimal choice to replace Donald. He does more DPS, he has a great limit break. The only thing I would want to keep Donald around for is that hot duck flare.
Yeah, duck flare's pretty good.
I feel like it would have been really cool if they had one Disney rep and one Square rep, but like, you know, it would kind of ruin the whole color scheme, because it's supposed to be like Mickey, Donald, and Goofy, but Sora's got like the Mickey color scheme, at least in the first game. So now we're just kind of going through a bunch of puzzles, and we want Beast to kill this thing, so we can activate this, because Riku took our Keyblade. Now that I'm thinking to explain this, Riku took our Keyblade actually, and we have a wooden sword now. It's just like Destiny's Island all over again. This is actually the main weapon of the level 1 Fight Club. The wooden sword.
Wooden sword, it's too OP, that's why you only get it in this particular part of the game.
Imagine if you could actually, like, have the wooden sword as a weapon, though. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool if there was, like, a keychain that turned your Keyblade back into the wooden sword.
But, like, it actually let you use it as a weapon? That'd be neat. Instead of the wooden sword, it's the wooden Keyblade now, and it actually does damage.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Exactly.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. So this next part we're coming up to is actually a fight against our boy Riku. You know how I said he was our bro? Well, you know, he kind of got mixed up with the wrong crowd. You know, our parents always told us not to talk to strangers, and Riku kind of did just that. So now he's slowly being possessed by darkness. And he's kind of in a bad place mentally, so we're gonna help him get there, get into a good happy place. But it's not gonna happen right away, so we're just gonna kind of whack him a bit. And hopefully it'll help. Maybe he'll see the light. So what we're gonna do right now is we want to hope that Goofy uses a skill, but we're gonna try to R's him. And hope just kind of hope our party members does their part. Hopefully, in a good fight, we would be able to get a lot of Rzing out of Riku, but obviously that didn't happen here. So we just kind of see there Goofy did it. His tornado. He's spinning around at the very end. Goofy, come on! You're making me look bad. Essentially, that fight, we want Goofy to kind of, do that, because it stops Riku from doing anything entirely, and it lets us focus on Rzing him. now we're just kind of solving puzzles. So the next part, a little bit, is going to be puzzle solving, which means that I don't really have a whole lot to explain. It's puzzles. It's pretty self-explanatory. Put the book in the right place, shoot the fire. So if Jill wants to share anything with the crowd, please be my guest. I'm not just saying that because this is the world. You get Beast in your party, and he's from Beauty and the Beast with the song Be Our Guest. It's totally not why I'm saying that.
Yeah, put our service to the test, right? I just want to remind everyone that you can support Take This and get some sweet Speedrun Ragnarok swag by ordering one of our official shirts. Exclamation point merch in chat. We'll give you the links to our listings on Teespring. There are shirts, hoodies, tank tops, stickers, mugs. It's a fantastic offering in both a light logo version and a dark logo version, so that you can be the coolest kid on the block, or coolest adult on the block, depending on your age, I suppose.
I mean, I would want to be the coolest kid on the block if I were you, so I'd do it. Jill's got your back.
I do. I've got your back, fam. I think it's the first time I've said fam in like 2 years.
So this next part here, I like to call, well, if it I want to show it off correctly. Anyways, it's Tony Hawk Pro Skater, as we call it, the best strat in the game. You ride down the slope there. Surprisingly, it's one of the only places in the game you can actually ride down a slope like that. That's not a mini game, and it's kind of cool. If you get the jump just right, it'll land you right next to the chest. Nazeda. I also forgot to skip that cutscene because my brain was focused on Riku's incessant panting.
I mean, as opposed to Riku's incessant shirting. That was something I had to be very careful about how I phrased.
Spear. We want these things to despawn so we can get this chest over here, which is going to give us a nice gummy piece, which is going to let us go faster. Then we just have to glide over this way. Yeah. So now we just kind of wait. It's a nice little elevator segment with really no gameplay going on here. We have a nice little extra ether here, which I think I'm going to just go ahead and pop now. And now we just kind of have to kill these things, because they're impeding our way. Except that guy doesn't really like us, so he teleported away. He was kind of scared after watching his buddies get done in. Anyways, I'm gonna like position Donald correctly, and then we're just gonna kind of look at Donald now. Look at him. Look at him in his little quacking feet. A little quacker right there. Quack, quack. Look at him. So adorable. Alright, so on to the game. We want to grab this blue trinity here, which is going to give us an elixir as well as 2 cottages, which we're going to use later in the run. We're not going to use them just yet, but it's nice to have. So, from this point onwards, we are actually going to be using a whole lot of R's, since we have it now, but we're also going to be using a lot of stop for a hot minute and gravity. But for the most part, it's going to be comboing R's with well-timed combos. So, you know how we got Dumbo earlier? Yeah, that's what we use him for. He turns Sora into a little baby boy, and we can just kind of skip a whole section of the world. Fun little fact for people who don't like doing that part of the world. Just get Dumbo and, easy.
I approve of that pun, Two Feather.
You could say that it was a tail. So for this fight, we want to try and like R's Mao, and since we have Air Combo Plus, we don't want to use a finisher like I just did, and we want to try to R's her as much as we can. She's going to try to throw us off, but we're not going to let her. We're just gonna knock her thing down, and then we're gonna attack her again. Except she's gonna do that again, so it's not very nice of her. Basically, this fight, what we want to do is we want to use R's on her, while she's up in the air. So she doesn't leave this spot. So we're just gonna pretend she didn't fly away, and we just did this fight perfectly. But that's pretty much where the fight goes. So this next part is a cutscene. And this is probably the most interesting strat in the game, honestly. What we do is we actually stop Dragon now. And that's it.
I remember this when I learned about this stop trick, and I was like, why? Why is this a thing?
Oh, I might have screwed up the strat.
How much longer would you say you got in the run?
I'd say we have about, from this point on, we probably have 30 to 40 minutes left.
So there's your answer. And also, that means that's your time limit for putting in donations to make me sing Disney songs, and also for us to hit that 2,700 mark for me and Alexis to sing Let It Go between this run and the next. So get those donations in, put it towards some awesome incentives or bid wars, help out Take This, and make me sing.
Yes, make Jill sing. We need more of that. So we're coming up on my favorite fight in this run, actually. Riku 2. Favorite fight in the run, favorite fight in the game. It's actually part of what got me into KH in the first place. So what we want to do here is we want to arson after a small little hit. And he's gonna do that. So we're gonna attack him again, and we're gonna arson again. So now we just kind of want to combo him while he transforms. And every time you do 4 hits, he actually parries. And if you do it correctly, you can loop him each time he does this. And typically you would want to R's about halfway through his HP bar, but to be safe I kept the loop going, just to show it off a bit more too. But you can skip his DM. He never goes all pathway to oblivion or whatever he says. Or lead me into everlasting. No, that's Ansem. There's too many darkness quotes in this series to remember. So
something darkness.
something darkness ultimate attack. So we actually want to just go ahead and run around as a Heartless now, because I have antennas, black feet, black eyes. I must be a butterfly. Little throwback to a really old Cage parody. So we're playing as a Heartless now due to the story demanding it, and we're pretty much just gonna waddle our way down into the world until Donald tries to whack us.
Hey Alexis, we got a notice from the tech team. The audio delay is getting a bit worse. Is it possible for you to be able to... You just fixed it? Oh.
Yeah, I fixed it right before Dragon Ball, actually.
Okay, so that message was about 6 minutes old, so never mind then.
I took a notice of it.
Ah, okay.
I noticed it ages ago, and I wanted to fix it, but I didn't know a good time. I didn't know a good time to do it.
Well then, disregard. Continue.
It's all good.
I can read timestamps.
It's okay, Jill. Pat. You're doing good. Hopefully we can get some more donations in that'll make you sing and hear that wonderful voice. So anyways, for the next little bit, all we're going to do is some movements where Sid is going to tell us to go speak with Kyrie, and we're just gonna kind of be doing some more fetch quests. So for the next little bit time being, I said, if Jill needs to say anything other than my technical difficulty issues, we are free to do some stuff.
All right. Well, we got a $20 donation from Lil Sharky, which says, "Has the movie Up been part of Kingdom Hearts game yet? Adventure is out there." No, it has not. Thank you. I'm going to look that up, and that means we've hit the 2,700 mark. So it means we're singing "Let It Go" when this is done.
Oh, nice. I am excited. There's actually a fun little cutscene here that, like, now that I think about it, I wish I could show off. There's a funny little cutscene in the HD version on PS4 with essentially where you get the Oathkeeper. If you do if you roll a certain way correctly, then during the cutscene, Sora's character model just kind of glitches out, and you can actually swing your Keyblade in the cutscene, and it looks really dumb, but it's really funny. Unfortunately, as I have to skip the cutscene, I can't show you, but there are plenty of places to go look. A lot of people have shown it off before. It's just a very funny glitch that is apparently only in this game. And it is not version specific between Japanese and English. I believe it's on both. And now we're finally done with Traverse Town. We never have to come back here. We just have one more gummy menu to do, and then we can mosey along. So, now that we're just kind of moseying here, does anybody actually like gummy missions?
I like building the gummy ships, but the missions themselves, not so much.
I feel like that's the answer I get from most people.
It's like Legos, but interactive. That's why I like Lego Racers for the N64, to be honest.
This is probably one of the most nerve-wracking gummy ship missions if you don't have a gun. I brought a gun for safety, of course, but as you can see, there are a whole bunch of enemies and obstacles in the way. It doesn't really leave a whole lot of room to dodge. While we have to speed through it really fast with our gummy pieces. So, bear with me while I say this can be especially terrifying with no gun. Other than that, there's this little part here where the space kind of changes around you, and when that happens, you can actually exit out of the gummy ship mission, and instead of doing the full thing, Hollow Bastion's just open now. I guess there's just something about leaving from Traverse Town, and going through that does it, but you can just skip that. You don't have to do the rest of it. It's fun. I believe it was found accidentally years ago because somebody died there. So that's just a fun little trivia fact. We want to switch Beast for Donald here real quick. And then we have another menu. We want to equip Oathkeeper, as we got earlier. And now that we're in Sora's abilities again, we want to equip these. And we want to go into Donald's abilities. We want to go into Goofy's abilities. And we want to go into Beast's abilities too. And then we have one last thing is we want to go into Sora's abilities and equip Leaf Bracer, which essentially means that if we heal, we won't actually get hit. So we can like invuln ourselves through any damage just by healing. Oop. Please. Alright, so we want to have Dumbo ready again. Because we're going to bring out our good boy Dumbo again. You can't top Yoko. Because Dumbo's going to let us skip a whole section of Hollow Bastion. You just want to rush past all the gummy stuff? Fair enough. These guys are just in a traffic jam on their way to space work. That's a good way of thinking about it. So we just skipped, I want to say, 3 rooms, 3 loads, or rather, going through 2 different rooms, and now we're back here now. So we're nearing the end of the run, actually. After we finish up here in Hollow Bastion, we're actually not going to have much longer left in the run. It's going to just kind of be a bunch of fights up until the end of the game. So if anybody wants to hear Jill sing, now would probably be the time to get it done.
Feel free to donate with your favorite Disney song, and I'll do at least a snippet of it. And then once the run is over, we will be singing Let It Go prior to the next run before we sign off for the evening. And I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. I sang Let It Go at karaoke the other night, and it was amazing.
I used to just belt it in my car on the way to work because I had the actual physical soundtrack before I had like a way of doing my streaming audio in my car, so.
So it's more just a bunch of movement until we get to the next boss. So if you have anything to say while we're doing that, more than feel free to.
Yeah, absolutely. I will point out that after this run is the Final Fantasy 13 Lightning and Returns run. And we have 2 bid wars open for that run for naming the Angel of Valhalla. Currently, Earlfarmer is still leading with $10. Valkyrie is lagging behind at 5. And then also to choose the color for the Midnight Mauve garb, orange is in the lead with 10. Every other option does not have any donations. So if you're interested in seeing a different color, or you want to see Valkyrie or a different name instead of Rolvamer, then feel free to donate for those.
Fun. That just all sounds like fun stuff. Try to explain Ansem. Oh dear. He is a half shirtless man who wears a jacket, and he spouts a lot of stuff about darkness while trying to just kind of bring your friend Riku over to the edgy side.
Well, now that leaves the question: are we talking about Ansem or are we talking about Xehanort? Because that's an important distinction to make. Because if you want me to sum up Xehanort, I can just say 4 words, which is Yanorta boy. It took them 13 games to try and explain Ansem, but I still don't think they did it correctly, so I'm definitely with you there, Justin.
Oh shit, I didn't. Pardon my language. I did not mean to use that, Mega Elixir. We want to kind of Ars Arcanum, Behemoth's Horn and keep him in place. That's probably the best fight that we can get if he stays in place. And it's not even that much slower if he jumps. It's just a lot nicer if he stays. Other than that, we're coming up to an unskippable cutscene. So, I don't really have much to say here other than, to add on to Jill, the end time for Jill being able to sing any kinds of Disney songs that may be wanting to be heard, snippets at least, is coming to a close around End of the World. So the next, I want to say 8 to 10 minutes is probably the last little bit of time. So I will be taking a quick break.
あんたのことは忘れたくても忘れられないよね。
どういう意味だよ。シュワー。早く今夜の閉めて。そうだ。
I'll take this time to point out that if you are interested in donating and don't know how, exclamation point donate in the chat will give you a link that you can donate with exclamation point incentives. We'll give you a list of all of our donation incentives and bid wars, and then exclamation point schedule will let you know when various runs are happening throughout the week. Because when you get your eye on, you can make sure you set an alarm so that you're here for it. So yeah. And thank you, Justin.
Alrighty, looks like I got back just in time.
Did you get a soda pop?
Yes.
We heard it open.
I apologize. I grabbed an energy drink beforehand so I would be good for the run.
I had 2 iced coffees from McDonald's.
So at this point we want to go ahead and equip the Omega Arts, which we just collected. And other than that, we're just going to keep going. We have about probably around a minute long, maybe a minute and a half dummy mission. And that's it for our Disney song time. Because once we enter End of the World, it's pretty much going to be constant movement. Well, it's going to be constant fights for the most part. There's a lot of stuff before we can actually fight Ansem, unfortunately, and he just doesn't want us to fight him, so we just have to try our best here. This is also probably one of the more difficult parts of the run, even in beginner, because at this point in beginner, we're pretty much heavily under-leveled for where they think you should be, because we haven't been fighting mobs. So a lot of the enemies here are still tough, even though we're doing a lot of damage. We can still pretty easily die here. So I will have to be weary. Levels, you mean crutches? Clearly. We can do this with one arm tied behind our back. Don't make me do that, please.
That'd be a sight to see.
Oh, So we want to try and Gravity and ours, these nice little buddies of ours. But if that doesn't happen, it's fine. Forgot to menu Gravity into our hotkey. We don't actually need stop anymore at this point in time, so we want to actually make sure that Gravity is in our customs. It makes it easy to use, and it's a crutch, essentially. So, basically, we start this world with a bunch of fights, and we start with Invisibles and then Angel Stars. And the Angel Stars are pretty much just Gravity, but they can actually summon another one of their kind in some sort of summoning ritual. Other than that, we want to use a cottage here before this next boss, and then we're gonna go fight it. It's another behemoth, which you probably wouldn't guess, but we're going to fight 2 more of these things along before the end of the run. This one and another one. And so we're just kind of Gravity spam here. It's kind of unfortunate that Goofy is not able to support us with his MP Gifts of Splendor, but we will be fine. There's also a rare drop here for something called Omega Arts, but it's so rare we almost never see it in the run. And we already have one. The game gives us one for free for beating Behemoth earlier, but we don't get any more. Get on the Hydra's back indeed, except it's get on the Behemoth's back.
Get on the Hydra's back!
So at this point we want to equip Ray of Light over Ravenclaw, because it gives us an extra MP, and we're gonna need that for the next few fights, actually. Because, well, would you have it? Apparently, the game developers wanted you to actually beat the game's worlds. You know, they're hard-earned, they're hard-worked-on, developed worlds. So if you haven't beaten a world, you have to at least look at one room in it. Which, for the Colosseum, we have to view it. We'll also have to do this for Atlantica and Pooh's World. And it requires us to do a fight. So for this fight is one of the places where we use Simba.
So I've got a bit of personal trivia about the Wayfinder. I have like 30 seconds to tell it.
俺に力を
Go ahead.
So when I was in college, we were really good at Kingdom Hearts, me and my group of friends. And before some of us left, because we were either transferring out of schools or dropping out, or what have you, my roommate actually bought us all Wayfinders on the Etsy. This was, gosh, about 6 or 7 years ago. I still have my blue Wayfinder hanging from my rearview mirror in my car.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. So coming up, we have our next portal, and we're taken to a random world in Atlantica. We actually get to see the fishy versions of Sora, Donald, and Goofy in the run.
こちらこちらいけ燃えろ
And now we're just kind of traveling through a world of destroyed worlds, trying to find our way around. Ooh, what's this one? Oh, hey, it's Pooh's world, but yet Pooh's not here, so we still don't have to see his face.
Silly old bear.
So this next part is going to essentially be... We want to gravity all of these, we want to gravity these invisibles to try and get as much damage on them as we can, so we can try to kill them all in one fell swoop. And you can actually get that elixir chest if you quickly open it up right before these enemies spawn. Now, here's our next fight. And his name is Chernabog. He's kind of just doing his own little Chernaboogie over here, where he starts with a roar and then just kind of does his own thing. And we just kind of want to try to do as much damage as we can as quickly as possible. Which means no finishers. Or, you know, only occasional ones. So now what we want to try to do is he's going to try to throw us off, but we want to use an R so we don't fly off super far. And then we can go right back into attacking him. It's a neat little way to skip the animation of being sent flying back. Other than that, we just kind of want to land over here. Because after the fight ends, if we land, what it does is it puts us right here, right into the load zone, and then we just have to come here and equip, we just have to go ahead and equip, Super Glide, which we just unlocked, which means that is now our fastest form of movement. Let me just Super Glide out of the way, out of this little twig here. I don't know why Square Enix decided to put it there, it just didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So here's pretty much the same. We just want to do a whole bunch of gravity spam, and then we want to use an R. And that's right. Oh, we're gonna be in for one. That Mega Elixir I forgot that I accidentally used earlier was supposed to be used at this part in the run. So what we have to do here now is we have to manually kill our friends here. So the normal strat for this is you want to go ahead and fire spam these immediately, because you can knock them all out in a pretty quick fashion with fire. But other than that, we can come over here and we can throw some gravities. And it'll pretty much destroy them. But since we have to worry about other things, we can't destroy them all right away. So we want to make sure that once we kill them, we have 3 bars of HP, and Donald and Goofy are alive. We don't want this to happen at the very end. Unfortunately it did, so we just kind of have to deal with it. And then we can summon Simba. Now that we have 3 bars of HP, well, empty, and our party member's alive, Simba's going to take care of the rest of us. Simba's gonna do his mighty roar a few times for us. So, this is the last time we'll be seeing Simba, this is the last time. So say goodbye to Simba, guys. He's no longer our buddy. He can't help us now.
Bye, Simba.
We just want to get a good roar in a few times. And because we have so much MP, we can get this last little roar in here to finish out the crowd. And now that we're done with Final Rest, there's nothing to worry about. I say that. So what we want to do for the rest of the run is we want to go ahead and we want to replace Ray of Light with Ravenclaw, and we want to give Goofy the Thing of Light now. Ray of Light. And so Goofy is going to get a few more abilities, and so is Donald, I believe. We want Donald to have some things as well. Now that we're doing that, we can also go ahead and put in all of our important items, which is our elixirs and mega elixirs. Now we have everything we need, we can just go ahead and move on. This is going to be essentially the last 10-ish minutes of the run. We're going to be fighting the final boss and everything after that. So... So, this next fight is kind of ridiculous. Ansem kind of just moves around all over the place. You want to try to keep him in a corner? So you want to attack him a little bit, and you want to try to R's him into a corner. Because he'll do like a backup animation when you stun him. So we want to get him into this corner. It makes him easier to R's for one, but we don't want him to be anywhere else. Because it just kind of makes the fight go slower. Like if I have to jump up here, for example. Stunning him as much as possible is preferred. Once you hit a certain HP barrier, he begins to try and make you submit. You can't hear it in Japanese, but he kind of just says, "Come Guardian," and submit. He just really wants you to submit to the darkness. He doesn't like the light at all, and we're just kind of ruining his emo, angsty day. That is the end of Ansem. What's next on the list is we want to go ahead and use this last cottage, and then we can just continue the fight. So the next thing up is Darkseid again. This is the last time we will see him in the run, so you can say goodbye to him too. And that's Dark Side.
Goodbye, Dark Side.
It's just kind of whacking him and using R's at the correct time. This fight is actually a little tricky. You can DM skip him just like Riku, but in order to do it, it takes a little more precision than Riku. You want to keep him more out in the open, and you want to have at least enough MP for an R. But I'm going to play it safe, unfortunately, and just try to not tempt Ansem too much, because he's back for the darkness. He's like, he brought us to his dark power area, and he's like just really feeling the angst. Like, he's got his Linkin Park playing in his headphones. You can't see the headphones, but you know, the giant dark monster has them. What do you think the bandages are for? So we don't want him to do that, but what he does is essentially he tries to stop us from attacking him. But we're not going to let that happen. We're just going to kind of... Bye-bye, Ansem. Except he's not done yet. You see, it's like he upped the angst even more, and he started listening to, like, Screamo music or something. So, like, you know, now the darkness is just overpowering him, and, like, he's got, like, all of this going on. He took off his shirt. He's got, like, his own personal mosh pit. He's got a dark ship of darkness, and we just kind of have to... Yeah. And we just kind of have to wield our Keyblade and hope we don't get too much damage taken. He also can shoot laser beams. Those are his dark fans sending dark beams at us from across the internet, clearly. Square Enix couldn't animate that though, so we just kind of had to choose to believe that's the case. Disney also wouldn't allow the use of real-world people, so we're also listening to this random music from not what he's listening to. So, fun fact.
Twitter comments from his big stand.
Fun fact: if you dodge roll at the right time here, you can actually skip a cutscene, which I didn't do, by the way. And if you fail it, it makes this whole fight happen in white. It would have been fun to show that off. So what we want to do here now is try to R's these shadows and get as much of them in as possible. And then we want to use another elixir. So the next part is these laser beams. We want to land here, hit this, and then use another R's. And so then we want to like try and use our R's, not this poorly, but we want to try to use our R's to destroy these things as fast as possible. And not be pushed back at all. Just like that, clearly. And then we go through this teleporty thingy, and then Goofy's in our team again. So we want to kind of fire some of these guys around, maybe like throw a gravity or something. And then they're gonna all come teleporting towards us. And so then we use this R's here, and it destroys a bunch of them. So now the rest of them are just kind of here, so we're going to try to fire them to finish them off. Because it's just faster, and we want to be over here now. So since we picked up some Mega Ethers, we're going to throw those. So we have them for the next fight. Now we have to fight his face. You know, things are just getting a little weird. His fans came out to play, and we have to fight this face. We also have to make sure we heal because we take a lot of damage at this point, and they're just really ferocious with us for just completely throwing shade at, or rather throwing light at some shade and darkness. We also just want to make sure we don't die, so we do a lot of heals. So we're going to land here and use one last artist to try and finish it off real quick. Then we're going to throw this ether here and another mega elixir here. So Goofy's alive. And we just need to get rid of some stuff. So now we want to throw off a gravity, and then we want to try to use one R's, and if we're lucky, we can kill mostly everyone. If we're not, then, you know, one will DM, but it looks like we got DM-less, so we're perfectly fine. We want to save this elixir for a second from now. And so the next part is to fly over here. This is the next fan of Ansem. It's just kind of a jello. It's like the jello stand of a concert. He's like throwing his own concert, and you know, it's just not really going well for him. So now we just have to take care of Ansem. And he's coming back at us one last time. He's been sleeping till now. And so we just need to finish him off. And you know, hopefully Donald will heal us and Goofy, but it's not as likely to happen. If we get lucky, Goofy with Tornado there. So we throw a Mega Elixir there and then fly back. Goofy now has MP, so he can kind of help us just blaze through. And this is indeed, if you didn't know, this is the last time we fight him in the game. It turns out that us and our light is too strong for him and his angst. So we just kind of whack him. And that's fine. That's literally Kingdom Hearts in 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 40 seconds. It is not the most phenomenal run, but we managed to just kind of end him in his fiery existence. As dark as it was.
That was amazing. That was a really good estimate too.
Oh, I should, okay, so backstory time, just a little bit. So I haven't actually finished a run until I started de-rusting. I hadn't finished a run in about, I want to say 10 months, and I hadn't actually played the game in several months beforehand. So I've been kind of rushing to de-rust. I am about 8 minutes, I want to say, from my PB, but I'd like to say that in the few days I've spent doing runs and de-rusting for y'all, pulling off a perfect estimate is probably the best thing I could have ever managed, and I'm really proud of myself. So, yeah. That is Kingdom Hearts Final Mix HD Beginner Any Percent with as much angst, light, jokes as I could possibly make. As many Square Enix jokes as I could possibly make. In 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 40 seconds. World record, I believe, is around 2 hours and 11 minutes. It might be 10 minutes now. But Jill, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I would like to say that was a fantastic run. Give it up for Alexis here in the chat. Give us some hype, give us some GGs. And I also think that we have something we need to do.
Oh, right. But, yeah, I guess now is the time to do it while these cutscenes are kind of doing their thing.
I went ahead and sent you the lyrics. I don't think you need them, but they're in your Discord, just to make sure.
Yes.
I figured the best way to do this is I'm going to just add the music in the background for myself, just to help me time.
Alrighty.
And I'll start if you want to just join in.
I will go ahead and load up a save real quick because there was an incentive, Matt.
All right. Fight Club.
So I will load this up and then we can go ahead and sing "Let It Go" real quick.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and start, and I'm gonna go get ready to start this.
Okay. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do this here, and just jump in whenever you're ready.
All right. This is where
Snow glows white on the mountain tonight. Not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling and this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in. Heaven knows I've tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small. And the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me.
Is that Elsa?
Free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I stay. Let the storm rage on.
And then it's like
my power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back.
The past is in the past.
Let it go, let it go. I rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on.
Cold never bothered me anyway. That was Let It Go by Jill with backup vocals from AlexisBloodRaine. Anyways, clap for Jill. Lovely voice. I'm glad you know the lyrics better than I do. So about that level 1 Fight Club. Anyways, so 2:29:40 is the final time for that, so we're going to start a new timer for this. So let's get this started. So we want to choose the 3v1 here, labeled by v3, and we're not gonna do that real quick. I forgot to start the timer. So essentially we want to start the timer as soon as we confirm we're going to do this. And then we're gonna go and beat... Well, I'm gonna throw this potion real quick. But we want to kind of whack whoever's closer. And with Tidus, we want to try to loop him with a full combo. If that's possible. And reminder, we're level 1 actually right now. And Waka has a ball that you have to be super weary of the whole time. So from this point on, which I'm not good at, we had a bad start there. So, alright, so we start with Selfie here. And we want to try and get as much damage onto her. She has a really weird hitbox. So she can't do a full combo like we can on Tidus, unfortunately. But once Selfie is dead, she can't use her jump rope anymore. And then we can just kind of combo Tidus without having to worry about Selfie hitting us with a jump rope from a distance. So at this point we have to wait till Waka does his little beach ball thing, which I died to. So we're just gonna pretend I beat that, and we're gonna move on to... I'll show you what Waka does in a minute, but it's basically the same thing. It's for when you're doing solo stuff, you want Tidus to be in a corner, or at the very least, you don't want him to get any more attacks in. It's Tidus, Waka, and Selfie from FF10 and FF something, respectively.
8.
8?
Yeah, that's where Selfie's from.
I don't know why they didn't put Yuna here. Like, you're gonna have Tidus and Waka, but not Yuna. So you want to do the same thing with Selfie as before, except here's the difference. Because of her whack hitbox, we don't want to hit her with 3 hits. We want to do quick 2-hit combos with short hops until she dies. Because if you try to do things with her wacky hitbox, because of her very whack hitbox, the full combo doesn't really work on her too well. So this is what we didn't get to see. It's essentially, once you beat the other 2 in a fight, you have to do this with Waka. You have to knock him out with his own ball, and then you just do short, succinct 2-hit combos. And you want him to stay on flat ground, because Waka's really tall. You can't use finishers on him, unfortunately, because he has revenge value for some reason. And he's one of the only ones that actually retaliates if you full combo him. He's not really stunnable other than that. So once you do this, you want to try to move as quickly as you can over to Riku, and this will kind of just help. So the way the Riku fight works essentially is you want to do 1 hit and then a full combo, because just like the Riku fight, he has revenge value, but it works in a different way here. He gets on the ground and kind of like does this weird hit thing at you. So you do 1, he'll jump back, and then you can do a full combo, he'll get up again, and it just kind of loops. Riku's probably one of the easier fights to do because he's alone, but that's pretty much Fight Club. It's a very short run. It's not very many people do it. Oh, and just to prove, I am on level 1. No experience has been gained, really. We chose the sword route in this save file. That's why we only have 2 MP. it's a very short and sweet run. Thank you for donating enough to let me show it off partially at least. I didn't want to keep everybody here forever, of course, trying to beat the 3v1. It is a difficult feat to say the least, and I nearly did it. Any time really. So that's all I have to show off today. So I guess you can just yeah, just Shora in his thing with the beach, in his natural habitat.
Well, thank you again, Alexis. We did get a $5 donation just now from Demon King with no comment, but did do Steve for the name of the Angel Valhalla. So we now have Steve at $5, Valkyrie at $5, and then the Earl of Vommer at 10. So that run is coming up next. I don't know when those incentives are going to close, but if you're interested in getting your choices in for that, please donate. And thank you so much for donating and making us sing Let It Go.
Alrighty then. One last thing, I guess, from me is thank you for having me. I very much enjoy playing Kingdom Hearts. It's one of my favorite game series, and I really like showing it off. It's especially Kingdom Hearts 1. It's the game that got me speedrunning, and it's the game that's kept me speedrunning so far. So, thanks for having me, and hopefully I inspired some people to want to speedrun the game as well. This was fun, and I hope everybody has a wonderful night, and I wish the marathon good luck, and I hope more people put donations in for the charity and everything. It was all fun to do and be a part of, so thanks for being a nice little audience with me chats, and thanks Jill for being a wonderful singer and pleasing my ears every now and again.
Well, thank you for the kind words, and thank you for showcasing this run for us and helping us raise money for charity. We are more than halfway to our goal for the week at 2706 out of 5,000, so that is fantastic considering we've been going for less than 24 hours. However, this is the end of me for tonight. I really need to go get some sleep, but I'll be back, I'm pretty sure, like every night this week, late night, so I'll be your late night host for most of Speedrun Ragnarok. So until then, thank you much, chat. I love you all.